Welcome to Samkwam GH YouTube channel. Today we are going to look at how we can design a certificate with putting our details, which includes the name, programs of study, students, index numbers, and their pictures to match automatically. And I'm going to teach you how to do this in both CorelDraw and Adobe Illustrator. So without wasting time, let's get into action. Here I have the certificate templates designed in CorelDraw. So I have a space for the pictures, and then variable 1 is the space for the names of students. Then variable 3 is the space for the program of study. Then the last variable is down here, which is variable 2, which is the student index number. Now we are going to link this to our Excel file. So you can see variable 1 represents the names of the students. Variable 2 represents the index numbers of the students, and variable 3 represents the program of studies. So here some did graphic design and others also did motion design. Variable 4 will be used when we get to Adobe Illustrator, and that is where we'll paste the link of the pictures here. But with CorelDraw, it is done differently. So we will not use this column here. To be able to link our Excel file to the CorelDraw, we need to save the Excel file as a text file. So we go to File, Save As, and we go for the location we want to save the file. And then I'll give it the name, change the save as type, and that is very important. So select text into bracket, tab delimited, so click on that and save. For the text file to work in CorelDraw, we need to close down the Excel software. If we come back to the text file that we have saved, this is how the preview will look like. But nevertheless, once we take it to CorelDraw, it will be aligned perfectly, just as we have Excel. So how do we link them to our variables? Let's do that. So you click on File, Print Merge, and click on Create Load Print Merge. So here we have two options. This time we are not creating number fields, but we are rather importing the text file. Therefore, we'll go for the second option and go to Next. So here we will locate the text file that we created, but then we are in the folder in which I saved the text file, but the text file is not showing, and therefore we change the file extension from rich text to text files, and then we can see it's there. So double click on that. So now we see the path is showing there, and that means it's successful. So we go to Next, and you can see the various variables that were at the top in the Excel file. So we see variable 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll go to Next, and then we can see the individual variables with their contents. So we see variable 1, you can see the names of the students. Variable 2, their index numbers. Variable 3, their program of studies. Okay, so from here we move to Next, and then we click on finish. Then immediately after that, we are going to see this window appearing on our screen. So at this point, what we are going to do is to insert the various variables into our CorelDraw. So click on the look down button here, and then you have access to the various variables. So we'll click on variable 1, which represent the names, and click on insert print merge field. So it's now appearing on our page. So let's do same for variable 2 and insert that also. Now let's move variable 2 down here, because that's where it belongs. And we do the last thing for variable 3. From here, we'll look at the formatting of the variables that we have just brought into our scene. So I want to give the same variable the attributes of the earlier ones I have here. So this is the font style that I use, ITC Bookman. The font size is 18. So I'm going to do same for this. So TC Bookman, then it's here, and then I'll give the font size 18. I want the font to expand on both ends, so I will center it. At this point, I will delete the old variable and then position the new one, because this is what will link to the names of the student. So I'll position it well here. Okay. Centered the name. Then I'll move to the program of study. And therefore this is Gaduji. That's the font style. And the font size is approximately 21. So I'll change this to Gaduji, which is here, and then I'll bold it and change the font size to. Now I'll delete the old one and position this. Again, this is going to represent the program of study which we have outlined in the Excel file. So I'll center this also nicely. Let me pull it down a little. Okay. Then we'll move to the last variable, which is variable 2. So let's check the font style for this. Okay, it's also Gaduji and the size is 10. So I'll change this to Gaduji, bold it, and reduce the font size 10. Variable 2 represents the index numbers. So as the index numbers expands here, I want it to expand to both the left and the right, and therefore I will center it, delete the old one, and position this at the right place. I'll center this also. We forgot to center this program of study, so center alignment. We have finished inserting our variables, and then we have also finished the formatting. So from here, I'll click merge to new document, and that is going to carry the template together with the variables and open a new file and put in all the details for us. So let me click on that. Now it will take some time. Yes. So now we can see the various details inserted in our work for us automatically. So we can see the name, the program of study, and that of the index number. Go through the pages down there. You can see the various names together with their programs and index numbers. But you realize that the names are too small. So let's go back to our earlier page and then we'll increase them from there. So I'll close the merge to new documents. And here I am in the original file. So here I'll select the variable 1 which represents the names and increase the font size to 24. And then we'll click on the merge to new document again. So here we can see that the name is bigger compared to the previous one. So if you move through the pages, you have access to the various names together with their programs to match and their index numbers. So here you realize that even though we have generated the names, the program of study, and the index numbers to match, it comes without the picture, and that is what we'll do next. And to do that, you will need a plugin called ID Card Wizard. So I'm going to put the link in the description so that you can download it and use it. To install the ID Card Plugin Wizard, go to the Windows menu. Click on the tools bars and refer to macros. The macro is supposed to appear on the right side of your Docker, but it's rather showing on my left here. So you click on this icon here, which is the macro manager, and then it will appear on the Docker for you now online. So I'll go ahead and close this one. So this is what we have inside the macro manager. So if you look through the lists, you will not see the ID Card Wizard. So we have to install it. So click on load and you refer to where you have saved your ID Card Wizard plugin. So I have saved mine here. So I'll double click on it and it appears now. So you can see it showing here DTP tips _ ID card _ wizard. So double click on start. This window appears. Now we are going to enter the size of the picture into the ID Card Wizard. So if you know the size of head, you can straight away go ahead and type it here. Or the easiest way to do it is to select the box in which the pictures will be and then come into the window here and click get location currently selected object. So click on that and then you see automatically the positions for X and Y will change. Now we are also going to link the ID Card Wizard to the location of the pictures that we'll be using for our certificate. So you click on browse for folder and you locate where you have saved your pictures. So mine is in this folder, which is the pictures folder, and then you click OK. Then to confirm that, you will see the path showing in that empty space there. Before you direct the ID Card Wizard to your pictures, make sure your pictures are saved in a particular order which matches the names that you have in the Excel file. So if you look at the order in which I have my pictures, I've given them the name 1, 2, 3 in that order, which means that 1 will go for the first name, 2 will go for the second name in that order. So let's come back to a Corel file Now we have looked at the size of the picture, which is showing in the X and the Y positions. We have also directed the ID card wizard to the path where we have our pictures. So now that everything is set, you click on Place Images. So you can see the pictures have been placed in their respectful places successfully. So if you go to page 1, so if you look at this picture compared to picture 1, it's the same. And picture 1 goes for the first name. And if we look at the last name and we look at the picture, which is picture 48. So if we move to the last page, which is 48, and we could compare, so we can see page 48 is the same picture we have here. So from here, you can now save your work in PDF and print, or you can equally directly print from here. We are in Adobe Illustrator, and I'm going to teach you how we can also generate the name, the program of studies, and the student index numbers and pictures to match, just as we did in CorelDraw. Click on the text tool and we'll type variable 1. And that will represent the names of the students, just as we did in CorelDraw. So I'll go ahead and format the text. I'll use the same font that we used in CorelDraw and give it a font size 24 and bold the typeface. And also with the alignment, I will align it to the center so that if the name increases, it will increase from the left and the right. So now position the text exactly in the middle of the page. Now I'll copy this down and copy another one also down here. So I'll format this also, change this to variable 3 and change that to variable 2, because the 2 will represent the student's index numbers and the variable 3 will represent the student's program of study. So for variable 3, I will change the font size to 18, and for the variable 2, I'll reduce the font size to 10. I'll go ahead and position it exactly where it's supposed to be, and do same for variable 3. I'll center that also. I'll go ahead and import the picture. So I'll drag it from here and position it exactly where I want the picture to be. Click on Windows menu and move the arrow down until you see variables, and click to open the window. We are going to enter each variables into the window here. So click on variable 1 and click on the make text dynamic, which is below the window here. Click on that, so you see it's appearing inside the window. So we'll do it systematically. So from variable 1, I'll move to variable 2 and do same. Move to variable 3 and do same. And lastly, the picture. So you click on the image and you click on the make link file dynamic. So the image is also showing here. Let's go and work on the Excel file, which will be used to feed the variables. So we are in Excel now. So you can see variable 1, which represent the names, variable 2, which represent the student index numbers, and variable 3 representing the program of study, just as we did in CorelDraw. Now the addition here will be the links for the pictures. Now because it's going to be a link to the pictures or a particular folder, we will delete the variables there and type at variable 4. The at sign is very important. The at sign means that you are directing Excel into a particular folder. Press enter. But then this is the problem that we are faced with. It says that function isn't valid. This is because we have the at sign there. If you click anywhere, it will not allow you. If you escape, it will go. And therefore, what we have to do is to change the cell from general to text and go ahead and type at variable 4, and then it will stay. So here I will go and copy the links to the pictures and paste them here. So these are the pictures. I'll use Ctrl A to select all the pictures, and if you right click on the pictures, you only have access to copy here, and this copy will rather copy the pictures itself but not the link. And therefore, to copy the link, you need to hold Ctrl Shift before you right click on the selected picture, and you will now see copy as part. You click on that, and then you come into your Excel and then you paste. Now you can see it pasted the images in the exact order, starting from 1 to right up to 48. And as we did in CorelDraw, you realize 1 matches with the first name in that order. So if we go ahead and save the Excel file and link it to the Adobe Illustrator, it will not work, because if you look at the path for the pictures, if you study it closely, you realize that there is a gap, there's a space, and we have to get rid of that space. Else, if we feed it to the variables of the Adobe Illustrator, it will give us an error, and therefore we need to close that gap. So how do we do that? So let me delete. So after deleting the path for the pictures, I'll close my Excel file and come to the root folder which contains the path to the pictures. So I'll go back until I come to the root folder, which is YouTube tutorial. So I'll right click on that and go to rename and take out the space. So I'll go back into the pictures and go through the same process again. So Ctrl A to highlight all the pictures, hold Ctrl Shift and right click on the pictures and click on copy as path. So let's go back and open our Excel file and paste the link in there. Now if you study the path carefully, you realize there is no space anywhere, and when we feed this to Adobe Illustrator, it's going to 100% work. I'll go ahead and save the Excel file File, Save As, and I'll direct it into the folder I'm working in. I'll give it the name Names of Certificate. Now this is very important. So we'll change the Save As type from Excel workbook to CSV into bracket, comma, delimited. Click on that and save. So we can go ahead and close the Excel file. Let's come back to our Illustrator file. So you'll be greeted with this warning asking you to remodify your link. Why? Because remember we modified the file name by deleting the space, and that is what is affecting this, because Illustrator is not able to trace the root again. So we have to go back and work on the link. So click yes, and then you trace the folder. So I'll click apply to all, replace, and I'll trace the folder. So it's in this folder here called pictures, and that is the first image. So I'll double click on that and then back again. So we are going to link our Excel file to the variable window. So you click on the option icon here and you click on load variable library. So you locate where you saved the Excel file. So mine is located in this folder. Then you change the format to CSV. Then you now see the Excel file. So double click on that and click open. Now it's going to ask you this question, then you click yes. So now we have successfully linked the Excel file to the variable. Now let's see if it will work. The moment of truth. So click on the look down arrow and you have access to the data sets. So we have 48 data sets. So that is what you see here. So I'll click the first one and bingo, it worked. So you can see the name corresponding with the program of study and index number together with the image. So let's move to data set 2. The picture has also changed to match this name, the program, and the student index number in that order. So this is the last one. That's the 48th data sets. Now the question is, how can you save this into a printable format so that you can get them printed? So here you realize that the other names are all residing within the variables window. So if you close the variable windows, you will not have access to the other names. And therefore we have to save them into PDF before we can have access to the other names for printing. So to do that, I'll close this and open the action window. What we are going to do is to record the process of saving one file into PDF and later subscribe to that action, which will be used to save all the files to PDF for printing. So I will go ahead and create a new action and give it a file name, save to PDF, and start the recording process. So at this point, whatever you do will be recorded. So I'll go ahead to File, Save As, change the Save As type PDF, direct it to the folder in which I want to save it, and give it a file name. And save to PDF. So the process is complete now. So I'll go ahead and stop the recording. Now the action that we just created is what is showing down here. So let's see how we can subscribe to the action that we just created using the batch production. So let's do that. Click on the option up there and move to batch. We are going to click on the action. So the very action that we just recorded, that is what is showing down here. Save to PDF. Click on that. So that is the action that we'll be using for our batch production. Now the source. What are we going to export to PDF? We are not exporting the folder. Rather, it is the data set. Because you remember, it is the data set that we saw within the variables window. And that is what we'll use. The other settings here has to do with the location that you want your PDF files to be saved to. So we click on choose and direct it to the folder in which we want the file to be saved. So I will save mine into this folder, save to PDF. So select that folder, and also the file extension, we will choose file plus dataset name. So in other words, it means we are going to have the file name which we give our work, which is certificate, and then it will add the name of the dataset to it. So dataset 1, dataset 2 in that order. So if you are okay with the settings, click OK, and then automatically you see the various certificates being saved into PDF for you for printing. Okay, so it is completed now. Let's check the folder and see. So this is the folder I created in which I saved the PDF files. So we can see the files are here ready for printing. So there's also another. And the pictures matches the names exactly as we did in the Excel file. So from here you can get it printed. But you notice that the PDF files are single file. If you want to combine them into one document, you need Adobe Acrobat Pro DC. So you highlight all the PDF files, right click and click on Combine Files in Acrobat. So these are the files. So you click on Combine and it will put all together into a single file for you, which will also make your printing much easier. So that is it. So you can see it's put all into one file for you to print. I hope you have learned a lot in this tutorial. Please subscribe to Samkwam GH channel so that we will continue to bring more exciting lessons to you. Thank you and see you later. Bye bye.